We are on location at the John F. Kennedy Middle School in Woburn, Massachusetts for yet another edition of Stateside Footy, the public access program all about Australian rules football as it's played here in the United States. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Bill Robert, and today we've got Boston Demons mixed Metro Footy on tap. Mixed obviously meaning that the guys and the ladies are lacing up the boots and they're going on the ground to have a kick today. I'd like to remind you that this year's Demons Intra-Squad Metro Footy competition is tied in with an Australian charity called Zadie's Rainbow Foundation, which is involved in generating awareness for organ and tissue donation. The players this year are showing their support for the foundation by wearing special rainbow shoelaces on their boots, shoelaces which are available directly from the foundation's website at www.zadie.org. This effort has a personal angle, by the way. Zadie Turner, the little girl in whose memory the charity was started and named, was a cousin of Rich Fuller, who's the club president here of the Boston Demons. In the first part of this episode, we'll have two squads made up of players from the Boston Demons Australian Rules Football Club. This part of the local competition features the members of the Boston Lady Demons team, but since there aren't enough ladies on board yet to make two full squads, some of the men will be joining in as well. Although they will be wearing the jumpers used by the Metro teams called the River Rats and the Buffaloes, they will not be known as such in this particular aspect of the competition, so for the sake of simplicity, we'll simply refer to the team wearing the River Rats jumpers as the blue team, and the side wearing the Buffaloes jumpers will be known as the black team. In the second half of this episode today, we're going to take a look at the AFL International Cup, which is a tournament held every 3 years in which teams from countries around the world come to Australia to play their game. This year's International Cup is special in a couple of ways. The first being that the men's competition will feature more teams than it ever has before. The second being the introduction of a women's competition to the International Cup. In all, 18 men's teams and 5 women's teams, including the United States, come in, starting in Sydney and finishing in Melbourne, deciding, in the end, 2 men's divisional championships and a women's champion as well. We'll take a quick look at the International Cup today and bring you some footage from a reception which was held for the U.S. team in Washington, D.C. at the Australian Embassy. The reception was hosted by Australian Ambassador to the United States, Kim Beazley, and he's going to be coming on with us here later for an exclusive interview to tell us about the event and his take on the international game in general. That exclusive interview is coming up, but first, there's some footy to be played between the men and the women of the Boston Demons Footy Club, and we'll start off with that next. You're watching Stateside Footy, the show bringing you the game that's Australian-made, American-played. We'll get going right after this. Stay with us.
In 1977, in Johannesburg, South Africa, an 8-year-old boy picked up the game of golf from his father. By the age of 9, he was already outplaying him. The odds of this gentle lad winning the Junior World Golf Championships at the age of 14, 1 in 16 million. The odds of that same boy then making it to the US and European Pro Golf Tours, 1 in 7 million. The odds of the Big Easy winning the Open Championship once and the US Open Championship twice, 1 in 780 million. The odds of this professional golfer having a child diagnosed with autism, 1 in 110. Ernie Els encourages you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
Mixed footy here on Saturday afternoon in the park, shall we say, at the field at the JFK Middle School here in Woburn. And today we've got basically the blue team versus the black team. This is a mixed metro footy today. You've got members of the Boston Demons and the Boston Lady Demons here, so you'll have men and women battling together on the same ground today as they get set to toss the ball up once again. Bill Robert here along with Kyle Serino alongside here, getting set for the action today. It's going to be a little bit of a different format. It's going to be two 15-minute halves as I get set for the opening ball up here. And collision there, and right now the blue team has it, and that Jen Vogel to Ross Druckenmiller. And the mark almost taken there. Brought out now, I believe that's Christina Calvillo for the black team, wearing the number 1. Let's double check that there. And let's see the kick through. And goal for the blue team. Goal for the blue team. Number 12. Kyle's actually in the midst of getting all that. Let's see, number 12 is Leslie Delaney. Oh, I'm sorry. For the blue team. For the blue team, it's Leslie Delaney who gets the first goal there. And the blue team gets out to a quick lead, 6-0 over the black team. The last mixed game, I believe Delaney had some goals there too, so continuing her fine form. Out of the ruck, Jen Vogel's got it now. Vogel kicks it ahead, looking for Delaney again. And mark spoiled by Calvillo. They kick it now with it, number 4. And it kicks around Kupke, but still stays out for the blue team. That's number 4. That's Anna Belford. And they're moving it through the ground now. Oh, too many steps without bouncing the ball, so getting pinged for that is going to be Nikki Blaha. So the free kick is going to go to Belford. Belford not too far from goal. So the blue team could double up their lead here. And Belford with the kick. And it's going to go through for a behind, it looks like. Indeed it is, so it's now a 1-1-7 for the blue team. Nothing for the black team yet. And we'll get it set. And the kick out comes out. And coming out now for the black team. That's Shippers with it now. Shippers along the wing, handballs it right up to Kristen Labonte. Back to Shippers. Shippers has it now. Handballs it ahead. Looking for Blaha, just goes past her. Trying to get in there for it now for the blue team is Vogel. And she's got a tackle. She's able to just wrestle it out of the hands of Nikki Blaha. Tackle now, both players go to the ground. Blaha's got it now. Blaha taken down from behind, dispossessed. Shippers has it now and holding the ball was called on the black team, so therefore looks like Belford's going to get it now. Anna Belford for the blue team. She'll kick it up ahead. And the mark is taken there by Jen Vogel. Vogel has it now on the center wing. She'll kick it ahead. Looking for Druckenmiller. Looking for Delaney. It goes off a couple of hands. Both girls go down. Let's see who's going to get there first. It looks like it's going to be Calvillo. And she's still got it. Nice shepherd there. And Blaha tries to move it up. She's dispossessed, though. Winds up there in the hands of Labonte. She kicks it ahead. And it goes to Shippers. And Shippers handballs over to Labonte. Kristen Labonte. She touches down. She's heading for the goal. And, oh, she kicks it out on the full. Right off the good ship SS Footy. It's excellent. Even the van's starting to get its own billing. I should probably thank Brett Kirk for that. When we had the interview, he did a little thing for his video blog for his website, and he took a photo of the license plate of my van. And it goes down to Druckenmiller. Druckenmiller goes deep, handballs ahead, looking for Delaney. Delaney's got it. Delaney with a kick, and it's going to be a behind. 1-2-8 now for the blue team. Black team yet to score. The last kick from the black team went out on the full. Right off the SS footy. That one just cracks me up. And now taking the kick out from her back goal square is Christina Calvillo for the black team. She kicks it ahead. Blaha tries to take the mark, can't do it. She's being covered heavily by Jen Vogel. They battle for it now. Blaha still trying to kick it to her advantage. Tries to get over now to Calvillo. Calvillo deep in her own territory. And she gets tackled, taken down there. And with it now is Kupke. Handball ahead. And coming with it now, that's Blaha. Tries to get it ahead, I believe, for Labonte. And it's going to go out and holding the ball. We're calling that. So therefore, it's going to be a free kick, and I believe the free kick is going to go to. Is it the blue team or the black team that's getting it?
I think Blue's walking away with this one.
Blues, yeah. So taking it looks like it's going to be Andy Williams now for the blue team. And she kicks it ahead. And the mark taken by Vogel.
Looks like she was going to go for it there.
Yeah, it looked like she was going to play on, but she decided to stop up and take the free kick. And that's then indeed what she's going to be doing. She's trying to get Belford and Delaney in position now. And it goes, it bounces, and it's taken now by Belford. Belford in toward the goal, makes a kick, kicks a goal! Nice job there. Number 4 for the blue team. That's Anna Belford.
Smooth transition. Just moved it on in.
2-2-14 now. And it takes a weird bounce off of the corner there. Taking it at the center once again, skipper Al McLean. Got to hand it to some of these guys who've been out here for all 3 games. Guys like Adam Shippers who've been out here. I mean, it's definitely warm. It's supposed to be 95 today. It's really humid, and even though we had torrential downpour early on, you would think it would have sucked some of the humidity out of the air. Not quite. Very warm, humid day here in Woburn.
Plus, he's been contributing the whole time, too.
Yeah, absolutely. He kicked, like 9 goals or something. And Druckenmiller, too, who's been in all the games. He handballs it ahead to Jen Vogel. And with it there is number 6. That's Dave Morton. Over to Vogel. Vogel moving in toward goal.
Plenty of space.
She lets it go. And she's got it.
Crept that one in on the side.
Jen Vogel with a goal. And all of a sudden, big lead there, 20-point lead now for the blue team. It's the blue team 20, black team yet to score.
You guys need water?
And they bring it back to center now, and so far the blue team showing pretty good there.
Yeah, definitely rolling strong here.
Yeah, it's heartening too because obviously this is the first year that the Lady Demons have been in existence, and some of these ladies are showing some really nice ball skills. Mm-hmm. And the kick, mark almost taken there by Labonte.
Got a bit ahead
She's
of
battled for it now with Andy Williams who's got it, and let's see here.
Just kept putting the boot to it.
Yep. Free kick though awarded to. That's, once again, Kristen Labonte. Kicks it up to Adam Shippers. Shippers has it now.
Looking
Rusty Smith on him. Oh, it goes right through the hands of Labonte. She's going for it, though. And she's dispossessed. Shippers with it now. Smith trying to shepherd him off the ball. Blaha takes it and high tackle. I think it's a high tackle call on Jen Vogel, so Nikki Blaha will get the free kick for the black team.
Okay. Thinks over her options. Before stepping up.
She's got Lacombe deep. She's got Shippers there, too. She kicks to Shippers. Shippers can't take the mark, though, as Druckenmiller comes in with the spoil, and he comes away with the ball. Druckenmiller handball to Vogel. Vogel moving with it now. She's on the run. Here comes the blue team again. They are away. Kick in, looking for Belford deep. Off a bounce. Can't get it to her. She's got it now. Gets her on Calvillo. Moving toward the goal once again. Handball to Vogel. Vogel can't handle it cleanly, though. She's got it now. Handball back to Belford. Belford with a kick. And Belford with a goal. There we go again. Belford with her second goal of this match. 4-2-26 now. For the blue team, black team obviously yet to score.
Still looking for options down there, but blue team's definitely been making the most, getting major scores most of the time.
First time we saw the Lady Demons in action, actually as the Lady Demons, was a couple of months ago in the Footy Galore in Baltimore thing we did, the Baltimore-Washington Eagles tournament, where they actually made a pretty impressive showing, and I believe the score was like 46-2 or something like that, beating the New York Lady Magpies. So these ladies are definitely coming to play, and a lot of them have just picked up the game this year, and obviously what they're learning and picking up already is terrific. Off the ruck, the ball goes to George Lacombe. Lacombe is looking for, I believe it's Labonte in space, goes past her, goes along the ground. Labonte has it now, and she gets it back to Lacombe. Lacombe handballs it over, looking for Labonte again. Labonte's got it. She's got an open goal if she can get it there, and the kick, it's out on the full.
But it's like you were saying, some of them are picking up the game this year, but it's clear that they're already, solid athletes, already know, have a good sense of athleticism.
Another heartening thing is their enthusiasm for the game too, Kyle. And off the kick mark taken there by Andy Williams. And the kick smothered there by Blaha. It still rolls to Vogel, though. Vogel kicks it, and actually it hooks off the tip of her foot and heads back toward the black team goal.
Looking for another opportunity. Kind of lets it go past.
And the handball to Blaha now. Nikki Blaha with a kick. Nikki Blaha with a goal.
He's in.
First points for the black team. It's a goal to Nikki Blaha.
A little bit of a victory dance.
Doing a little bit of a shimmy, yeah.
But it stayed in. It looked a little wobbly, but...
Yeah, no, it's not quite the soccer run, but good celebration there. Oh, look at that. Al McLean doing his best Tom Brady. And the goal umpire doing his best Ricochet Caldwell. Or as we used to call him, Ricochet Caldwell. Although, no, I shouldn't say, because he did catch some pass. I guess I would have to say Joey Galloway.
Ha!
I know he's a renowned receiver, but when he played in New England, he couldn't catch a cold. So that's what we're saying.
Sending it up.
And tip back into the hands of Druckenmiller. Druckenmiller tries a handball over to Rusty Smith, but it winds up in the hands of Adam Shippers, who handballs it ahead to Blaha, who just scored a goal. She's dispossessed as she's taken down. And with it now is Kristen Labonte.
A little back and forth as they move up the field.
She's still got it. She touches. Labonte with a kick. Oh, it goes out again. This time not out on the full. There's going to be a boundary throw in. Oh, no, it's this point. Okay, it's a behind. 1-1-7. It didn't look like it got inside that behind post, but the behind post. That's all, folks. But no, it did get inside that behind post, and
it's your third
that's
game
1-1-7. Yeah, it's hotter than all get out. There's just going to be me and the animals and the couch and the AC. And my wonderful wife when we get done here today. Jen Vogel takes the kick now. She tries to kick it ahead in space.
Yeah.
However, right now the black team have numbers, and getting it there is Calvillo. However, nice shepherding attempt there by Belford as she knocks Calvillo off the ball. And with it now is Lacombe with a handball back to Kupke. And now up to Blaha. Blaha tries to sell the candy to Druckenmiller. And Druckenmiller has it now off the ground. Handball over. Goes to Belford now. Anna Belford with it for the blue team. She kicks it ahead. And winds up in the hands of Paul Kupke for the black team. Kicks it ahead looking for Christina Calvillo. And she's going to have it. And she's able to get it to the boot just as she's wrapped up by Belford. Labonte going for it now. Labonte being held there a little bit by I believe that was that Garofalo?
Might be.
Yeah, anyway. Kick ahead now.
How's that?
Blaha with a kick.
Right on through.
Nikki doing the shuffle once again. Blaha with her second goal. 2-1-13 now for the black team.
Splits the lead in half.
Yeah. Got the Killer Bees on either side. Belford for the blue team and Blaha for the blacks. Try saying that one 5 times fast. Do.
Can barely make it through that thing once.
Yeah.
As they bring it up.
Let's see here. Calvillo tries to get it off the ruck. Handballs it back to Blaha now. Blaha has her jersey grabbed, but she's still got it. And it goes right through her set of feet. And Garofalo getting it to Druckenmiller. Getting it over to Vogel. Jen Vogel with it now. Vogel on the move. Nice shepherd by Belford. Closing out to Calvillo, who was going after Vogel. Smothered there by Lacombe, but it winds up going back. And Vogel's got it. She's still got it, being hassled there by Calvillo. And handball goes over to Belford. Belford with a clean kick toward goal. And it's taken there. Marked by Kupke right before the goal post. And that's halftime.
The first 15-minute half wrapped, and early on mostly blue, but black's definitely shown they got some skill.
Yeah, actually the black team, Nikki Blaha has come out, kicked a couple of nice goals. But so far we go into halftime. We go into the major break with the score. The blue team, 4 goals, 2 behinds, 26 points. And the black team, 2 goals, 1 behind, 13 points. Coming up next, we'll finish this one up, the second 15-minute half. We've got mixed footy today. It's the men, it's the women. We've got it right here in Woburn on Stateside Footy.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
They're about to ball it up now at center as we get set for the second half of footy here this afternoon. Mixed footy. It's the men and the girls, the blue team versus the black team here at Woburn. Off the Rockets taking ahead now and moving with it there. Kick goes ahead. Giving chase right now. That's Kristen Labonte. Labonte in close. She touches. She's in close. Very close. Takes a kick and kicks a goal.
Waited that one out. Didn't want to risk
yeah.
shanking it to the side.
Important thing is they're pulling closer now. Mm-hmm. The goal there going to Labonte, Kristen Labonte for the black team. So now they've pulled almost within a goal now. It's 4-2 to 3-1, 26-19, which means they're just 7 points out now. Very quick goal to start off the second half.
Helps set the tone.
As they get set to toss it up in the middle again, we've got Blaha going up against Belford, I believe. And Belford taps it. However, Calvillo is going to get there. And then taken out of her hands. Picked her pocket there, Jen Vogel. And then there's a big pile there. And taking it now is Druckenmiller. Druckenmiller tries to sell the candy to Nikki Blaha. Hands it over. Handballs it now to Belford. Belford with a big kick and a big goal.
High and quick. That was good.
Yep, that's a goal.
Good response.
Yeah, someone scores a goal on you, best way to battle that is you get it right back, and indeed they did. The goal once again by Belford, her third of the match. And now it's making it 5-2, 32 to 3-1, 19. So the black team scores quickly. The blue team responds just as quickly.
Can't have them run away. You got to try and keep your distance.
Right. Yeah, you want to get some clearance if you can.
Especially in a shorter game like this.
Right, yeah, it's only 15 minutes per half. And they're tapping it back. And probably about this time of the day, a bunch of these guys have already played 2 40-minute games. So 2 15-minute halves probably be about just what the doctor ordered. Belford has it now and handballs it to Garofalo. Over to Druckenmiller now. Druckenmiller runs around. Handballs over to Vogel. Vogel can't hang on to it, though. Druckenmiller gets it back to Vogel, who can't hang on to it again. And with it now is George Lacombe for the black team. He's going to kick it.
With the boot.
Ahead. He's got Labonte up there. And she chases it down.
He's got a good grip.
And she's still got it.
No angle.
And no angle. And let's see, that's a goal.
That was tricky. She looked like she didn't have too much space to make that one.
Got double check. I think that was Labonte again, number 4. Yeah, number 4, Labonte. So Labonte with another goal there. 4-1-25 now. So Blaha, Labonte. 4 goals now for the black team. Blue team still has 5. They've got 5 goals, 2 behinds, 32 points as compared to the black team's 4-1-25. So they still lead by a goal and a behind, 7 points total. 1 goal, 1, I guess you could say. As Al McLean gets set to do the center ball up again. And it's knocked ahead by Vogel.
Sort of a karate chop there.
Yeah. Play on, the umpire calls, and soccered along the ground there by Blaha. And they've got it now. It goes over to Labonte again. Labonte on the move. Tries to get it to the boot. And kicks another goal. After a couple of early missed opportunities, she's kicked 3 goals in a row.
Puts it within 1, right?
Yeah, puts them within a behind. So right now the score 5-2-32 for the blue team, 5-1-31 for the black team.
Keeping it tight.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As we mentioned before, you kind of have to. You can't wait to rally late if there's only 15 minutes.
Yeah. No time like the present to get things going. The runners come in, players get some quick hydration. Very important on a day like today.
Especially after, as we mentioned, playing a couple games before.
Yeah. And tapped by Belford, but it goes right to Kupke, who gets it to Calvillo now. Calvillo gets it over to Labonte. Labonte on a far angle gets it over now to Shippers. Shippers.
Long pass.
Over to Blaha. Blaha with a kick.
He's going to roll.
And let's see, Shippers has it now. Shippers handballs it to Calvillo. Calvillo still in the grasp of Jen Vogel, and she's going to be called for holding the ball most likely.
She's trying to work her way out of that one, I think.
Yeah, well.
Committed a little too
winds up
much.
now the free kick going to the blue team. And the mark is taken by Druckenmiller. And he'll kick it ahead now. He's got Belford out there in space, takes one bounce, goes right to her, and they're away. You've got 3 players deep. There's Rusty Smith, and there's Belford, who fumbles it a little bit. Lacombe, the only person back for the black team. She's got it, Lacombe trying to take her down, and she's going to get called for holding the ball. Lacombe with the free kick now. Goes over now to Tom Goal. And he's taken down back to Lacombe now. Lacombe has it in his feet. Sidesteps Druckenmiller, gets it back to Goal now. Goal. Kind of an appropriate name for a footballer, although it's spelled G-O-L-E, not G-O-A-L. Calvillo tries to bounce it. As a result, loses hold of the ball. And they wanted high contact on Vogel for that tackle on Calvillo. However, they just say play on. And with it now, here comes Labonte again. Labonte with 3 already.
Just a touch.
Any scoring shot will affect the score rather drastically. A behind will tie it. A goal will put him in front for the first time all game. And she handballs it ahead to Shippers now. Shippers to Calvillo. Calvillo moving in towards goal. She gets it to the boot. She takes a shot and gets a goal.
Like you said, that swings him into the lead.
Yeah, Christina Calvillo for the black team. Puts him in front now. 6 goals, 1 behind, 37 points to the blue team's 5-2-32.
This is probably coming right down to the wire.
Probably, yep. So they're getting set now for the center ball up once again. Black team came into this half, scored a quick goal. The blue team got it right back, but then black team have fired off the next 3 major scores, and they find themselves in front now. They have hit the front, and they lead by 5.
Came out of the half swinging. That's what you need to do.
Absolutely. And tapped ahead looking for Jen Vogel. Goes over Vogel's shoulder, but she goes back for it. Then she's taken out by Calvillo. And who's going to get the free kick?
Get a little extra commentary from the peanut gallery.
Just a bit. And Vogel will get the free kick. And the kick ahead, looking for Belford. Winds up going to Lacombe. Lacombe's got it now.
Gets it around her.
Handballs it to Blaha. Blaha, however, taken down by Druckenmiller. Dispossessed. And with it now is Belford. Belford tries to get around goal. Handballs it over. And then back. Belford just put it to the boot, which is what she does. And let's see where that landed. That's a goal. Belford with a goal. And all of a sudden,
the lead.
The blue team is back in front. Belford with her 4th goal of this match.
They were scrapping to try and clear it out.
Oh, hang on. Everyone's saying that was a point. I saw the goal signal first, and everyone else did, but apparently it was just a point. So we have to change that. 5-3-33. So they still trail by 4. And here comes the black team again. Calvillo's got it. Calvillo from center half back. Kicks it now up to center. And the handball to Calvillo. Christina Calvillo moving with it once again. She's got a goal. Kicks it up to Labonte, who's got 3. Labonte's got it now. She makes a move in toward goal. And she kicks a grubber along. And did that make it at all? That's going to be a point. So they got the point right back.
Just enough to make it through.
6-2-38. So once again, the black team up by 5. And going for it now, here's Belford again. Belford with it, trying to get around Blaha, and indeed does. She's moving in, nice bounce. Gets it to the boot.
Nice and high.
And gets it through the sticks, that's a goal. That's got to be a goal for sure. Indeed it is. We were a little quick to award her a goal before, but that one definitely awarding. So that's 6-3-39 now. Anna Belford with the goal. And that puts the blue team back on top by a point.
Making up for that last one. Yeah, she just charged right down for it.
Absolutely. So right now the margin is a point. And they get set once again to take it in the ruck. Tapped ahead there by Druckenmiller. And Vogel's got it now. She tries to kick it up to Belford, but Lacombe's got it there. Lacombe taps it ahead. He's got it now. Handballs it over. Goal tries to get it. He's got it off the ground now. And he kicks it straight across. And it looks like Belford's going to be the first one there. Indeed, she is. However, she's taken there by Blaha and Calvillo. And we've got a ball up right at that spot. Time winding down. The blue team leading by a point.
Heads up again.
And it's tapped back right into the hands of goal. Thomas Goal, not the goal. And the mark taken there and by Kupke, who plays it on now. Is that? And Shippers has it now. Shippers ahead to Labonte. Labonte has an open goal, and she kicks it and gets it.
That might just be critical.
Closing in on her was Druckenmiller, but she was shepherded away by Shippers. So Labonte with another goal. And this yo-yo ride continues. I should say the seesaw ride. Although it's kind of like a yo-yo on a seesaw. How's that? How's that for some imagery? So right now it's 7-2-44 to 6-3-39. Once again, the black team are out in front. As time continues to tick down in this one.
We'll see if that's the decider. As it heads up.
Well, once again, with a short field, anything can happen. Doesn't take long. And Garofalo gets it to Vogel. Vogel taken by Calvillo. And she tries to tap it ahead, and she gets it out to Garofalo now. And the kick goes up. It's a high kick. I don't know if it's going to have the distance. Oh, it bounces! And
you got the touch on it.
He conceded the behind. George Lacombe conceded the behind. 6-4-40. Once again, it's a 4-point margin. And it bounces in, but then rolls out, so it's going to be a boundary throw-in. It won't be out on the full. They'll toss it in. Or is it? No, there's a free kick, actually. It did go out on the full. It looked like it had bounced just short of the boundary line. But I was mistaken. With it now is Belford, who loses command of it and hands it right to Shippers. Shippers gets it ahead now for Blaha. She's on the move. No, I'm sorry, that's not Blaha. That's, oh, boy. That's a big tackle. High tackle, yep. That wasn't Blaha. I'm sorry, that was Labonte. And the free kick awarded for the high tackle. And the blue team's going to take the free kick. It looks like Andy Williams to take the free kick now. And she kicks it looking for Rusty Smith. However, it's going to roll out of bounds. It'll be a boundary throw-in on the center wing. Once again, the tight match. Only 4 points separate the two teams. And in the second half, the lead has been bouncing back and forth. And out it comes. Shippers has it now, tries to handball it over to Calvillo. With it now is Druckenmiller, who gets it to Belford. Goes back to, try to get it back to Belford from Garofalo. Belford's got it now.
Forward, that's all that counts.
And she's got it now, a handball back to her. Oh, it's smothered by Lacombe. She had a shot at goal. George Lacombe jumped up and smothered it. And with it now, here comes Calvillo. Black team trying to get back. And Shippers is able to move around Garofalo. Gets it out to Labonte. Labonte can't handle it cleanly, but she's got it now. And the black team's away. Labonte touches down. Handball off, tried to get it to Blaha, bounces right in front of her. Blaha trying to get there. She and Vogel collide, and now the blue team's going to take it out. Sidestepping, I believe that's Druckenmiller. Kick up looking for Belford. And play on, they say. Play on, they're saying. Garofalo's got it now. Handball to Druckenmiller. Druckenmiller with a huge kick.
Oh,
it's on the roof!
He roofed it.
It's on the roof of the school!
Oh, he's never going to hear the end of that one.
Yeah. Give the gift of footy. Still haven't figured out whether or not it's a goal or a behind. Well, it's not a behind, it's an on top. And it's going to be a goal.
They're awarding him that one?
Druckenmiller awards him the goal.
Let's see if we can get that one back.
7-4-46. Blue team taking the lead again. I think that the Demons organization has just made its first contribution to their footy outreach program here in Woburn. Yeah, good luck getting that one. Spider-Man, where are you now? And coming off and goes to Rusty Smith now. Smith gets it to Belford.
Back to
Smith. Smith tries to get it up to Andy Williams.
A little bit ahead of her, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that full time?
Full time, that's it. And that's going to do it.
An eventful game.
An eventful game. Yeah, an interesting game. Definitely, how should we say, punched through the ceiling of our expectations, right onto the roof. As literally a ball winds up on the roof of the John F. Kennedy Middle School here. Some industrious person's going to get themselves a nice little gift from the land down under. Anyway, the final score here at the middle school in Woburn today. The blue team, 7-4-46, and the black team, 7-2-44. Literally 2 behinds the difference in this one. And that's going to do it for this game here. Coming up next, we've got a very special feature. Stay tuned for more right here on Stateside Footy. Coming up next, it is our International Cup preview, featuring an exclusive interview with the Honorable Kim Beazley, the Australian ambassador to the United States. It's on the way, so stay tuned.
Pants. I am folding the pants. The pants are long. Do they go on my head? Do they? Do the pants go on my head? No. They go on.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
But we're going to be the best team on the day. That's the thing that you're going to get in your head. When it's your turn to go, you go. No matter what you do in football, you can at least go in hard for the ball, yeah? Right. You can at least go in and block hard for one of your teammates to get the ball out, yeah? Right. So that's where the game starts and ends. So let's get that. When it's your turn to go today, you go. You keep your head over the ball and you go. Where's our big centre half forward? Yeah. Let's support him. Let's look for him. He's good overhead, good hands. Let's support him. Let's run off him. All right. Play for each other. Play for each other. This is what football's always about. Right? And the thing that I love about this job is that you're now trying to represent your country. And if that's not good enough for you, if that doesn't put something into your gut, then nothing ever will. Right? So let's go hard from the first bound. Let's take a few scalps today. Let's regroup at quarter time and see how we're going. Hand on. Go! 3, Rebo. 1, 2, 3. Go!
I've been in sports my whole life, but they all ended at college. The last thing I thought I'd do is start a full contact sport. After I had hung up my cleats and hung up my basketball shoes, and I thought I was done, relegated to old man softball. But I came out, and I don't know, the first time I played, I was kind of addicted.
First time we're in these today, yeah? First time you've worn it. Don't disappoint yourself, don't disappoint the crew. Everyone hard at it, okay? You with it?
Being able to represent the country wearing the red, white, and blue, it started before I knew what footy was.
Rebels on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Go, let's get into it. Yeah, boys.
Growing up, I always wanted to represent my country in any way that I could, whether it was an Olympic swimmer or in the World Cup playing soccer. In 3rd grade, I let my teacher know that that's what I wanted to do.
Unfortunately, didn't make it in soccer as far as I wanted to. Swimming got old when I was 14. But the dream of representing my country never left.
And now it looks like I might be heading to Australia to play for the U.S. team.
Obviously, you're coming down there, and obviously you're our captain, and you're very important to us. All right, and I'll start straight up. Your leadership on the field on the weekend was terrific, and you know, general management of it when it's your time to manage them has been, you know, first rate. Okay, so rely on you to keep your eye on that West Coast.
I'll put them to work.
I know you will. See you, big fella. Take a seat over there.
All right.
Fantastic effort. Okay. You haven't made the squad.
Understand.
And I know you're coming back after a pretty bad injury. It's basically, no, I'll be honest, first of all, it's a fitness issue.
Yep.
Right, you've got to be able to keep up over 2 weeks and a whole lot of days.
I have to say I kind of expected it, knowing that yes, my fitness is far lacking in what it should be, but hopefully something like this, or the inconvenient timing of a surgery, won't be an issue next time.
And I'm sorry you missed out, but you know, it's a numbers game in some ways, and yeah. Okay, congratulations, you made it in the squad of 35.
Thanks.
You are very important to the team in lots of ways, all right? And same thing I want to say to you, I'd say to some of the other young bucks, that be better when we go to Melbourne than you are when you left here.
Definitely.
You know, you look at a team like Denmark, which is a team that goes back historically as far as our team does, and is very physical and pretty skilled. And, you know, there are some newer teams now that, you know, we hope develop, but we're not, you know, worried about them just yet. And Denmark is one. They've beaten us a few times, we've beaten them a few times, and you never know how it's going to go. I think our guys performed really well. Saarbacher played really well. RJ played well. You know, Ryan Marks played really well. Then when we got it, we try to put it right down the guts, which is, you know, run in numbers. But the thing I really like about our side this year is the team speed. I think that's different than what I've seen in the past. We've always been hard at the ball, we've always been good tacklers, but to have the foot speed that we have this year, I'm very pleased with.
Last game, last 4 quarters that we're here together. Last time this group will ever be together is today. So let's show the respect for each other and who we represent, and get out there and bloody go hard at it from the first bounce and come off the ground absolutely rooted because of the effort you're going to put in for each other today. Don't come off the ground any time in this match unless you are rooted. And that's because you're going to be running, and you're going to be banging blokes over, and you're going to be steadying, and you're going to be talking loudly and aggressively the things we've talked about the whole carnival. This is it. This is it. Right? So don't leave anything on the table. Don't leave anything on the table. Make sure this team goes out on a high note. Best effort is all I ask. Best effort, all Matty asks. Best effort for each other.
The footage you've just seen is from the documentary We Will Be Brothers, produced by Jeff Purcell and Darren Woolsey, and released in 2010. Jeff and Darren followed the United States Revolution team from their formation in 2008 right through the 2008 International Cup in Australia. That year, 35 men traveled down under, playing for the country and representing the growth of Australian rules football here in the United States. Jeff helped us out last year, bringing us some footage from the Seattle Grizzlies AFL Grand Final party. He's helping us out here again. So I'd like to take a moment to thank Jeff for allowing us the use of some scenes from his documentary. If you'd like to see more of We Will Be Brothers, the film is available online on websites like Hulu and IndieFilm, where you can watch it. You can also purchase a copy for sale on a website like Amazon.com. Anyway, getting back to 2008, one of those 35 Americans on the International Cup team currently plays right here in Boston. Demons vice captain George Lacombe went over to Australia, and he donned the red, white, and blue for the Revolution. We caught up with him at a preseason training session earlier this year, and he told us a little bit about his experience.
It was really a great experience. U.S. Footy has a national team where they bring the best of all Americans in the United States to go over and play a 2-week tournament over in Australia. And it takes place every 3 years. And I was lucky enough to be a part of that in 2005 and 2008. So it's a really great experience to play footy, go over to Australia and see how the game is played over there, and just the amount of passion that they have for the game over in Australia.
That year, the Revolution finished 7th in a field of 16, defeating teams from Denmark, China, and Japan, while just falling short against South Africa and Nauru. The eventual winner was Papua New Guinea, who defeated New Zealand by 8 points to take the title. 18 men's teams are making the trip to Australia to participate in this year's International Cup competition. On the grounds this year, there will be teams from Canada, China, Denmark, East Timor, Fiji, France, Great Britain, India, Ireland, Japan, Nauru, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, a team called the Peace Team, which is made up of Israeli and Palestinian players, also South Africa, Sweden, Tonga, and of course the United States. East Timor, France, Fiji, and Tonga are the new teams playing for this year's Cup. On the women's side, all 5 teams are first-timers, as this is the inaugural women's competition in the International Cup tournament. One of the more unusual aspects to this competition is the fact that the women's tournament includes a team from Australia. Australia does not enter a team into the men's tournament, partly to emphasize the point that the competition is meant for the rest of the world, but also because this is Australia's game, and the pool of available talent from all the state leagues would produce a team so skilled it would have an unfair advantage over the rest of the field. In the case of women's footy, their game is still in the developmental stage in many cases, so the country put together what they're calling the Multicultural Indigenous Team, made up of Indigenous female Australian rules football players. The other 4 teams in this inaugural Women's International Cup competition come from Canada, Ireland, Papua New Guinea, and, once again, the United States. The men's action starts in Sydney on August 13th with a round of games called the seeding round. Once all the games in that round are played, the teams are ranked according to their record and split into 2 divisions. The top 12 teams play for the championship of the top division, and teams 13 through 18 play for the lower division title. The second week of action is where they actually play the finals and play for the championship. Those games are held in Melbourne. The women's tournament starts with a seeding round as well. After all those games are played, the teams will be ranked according to their record. The team ranked 5th will receive a bye from the finals action. The top 4 teams play in semi-final games. The 2 semi-final winners play in the grand final, and the losers play a game to decide 3rd place. The American men's team goes into the tournament this year ranked 7th overall. The women are ranked 5th in their competition. There are no Demons on the men's side of this year's International Cup roster, but there are some players from other clubs who have seen some time on Stateside Footy, including Philadelphia Hawks' John Loring, Pat Miller, and Ryan McGettigan. Also, Baltimore Washington Eagles' Jake Moyer and Brandon Bludow, and Nashville Kangaroo Luke Nemeth. Some familiar faces pop up as well as the U.S. Freedom Team travels down under to take part in the inaugural Women's International Cup competition. Emily Reel from the Boston Lady Demons is making the trip, as are New York Magpies' Drea Casillas and Siobhan McHale, and a few ladies from the Baltimore Washington squad, namely team captain Judith Stein and Karen Stabline. We saw them play with the Boston Demons in a ladies' match earlier this season as part of the whole Footy Galore in Baltimore series. The other Baltimore-Washington player going is Eileen Gahagan, who has Boston ties as well. She grew up in a suburban community about 40 miles north of Boston and was a soccer standout at a local high school. Speaking of Eileen Gahagan, she was in fact one of the people in attendance at a reception that was held a little over a week before the start of the International Cup. It was held at the Australian Embassy in Washington, D.C., and the host was the Australian Ambassador to the United States, the Honorable Kim Beazley. The embassy was nice enough to furnish us with these still pictures and some video taken during that reception, which we'll take a look at right now.
A football drinking session. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to break the habit of a lifetime and do that here because I am just so massively excited about what you're all up to and what you're doing, and amazed by the fact that you've voluntarily got together a huge sum of money to get yourselves across and play Australian rules football in Australia in this terrific international competition. So I should acknowledge a few, well, Dennis I should acknowledge, who's here who's the assistant coach for Revolution and Eagles co-coach or something, are you? That's the thing. And Judith, I think there's around. She was here a minute ago. Okay. And Steve Carty, I should acknowledge, and I think Brandon's not here, but okay, I'll acknowledge him in absentia. And I'm told I have to acknowledge Kevin Stanley because he's a BWE's best player, but he's unavailable because he's expecting his first child.
This guy right here.
That's all right. But all of you, you're all very welcome here. As I said, I'm impressed that you'd put that money together to go and play Australian rules football. It's always been the sort of missing link in the Australian rules game. Its lack of an international character. It has always tried to manufacture something. So they for years and years they've been selecting an all-Australian team who plays nobody. And they finally managed to inveigle the Irish into a hybrid rules game, which is really not fully satisfactory. They have AFL missionaries out all over the place. They believe themselves having an excellent chance in South Africa and in China. In South Africa, it's basically because nobody in the majority community wants to play rugby, or they really struggle to get them to play. And in China, because there's so darn many of them anyway, they ought to be able to extract 18 from them somewhere. But here, it's a great thing that there are 35 teams amongst the men, 10 amongst the women, and that they can get themselves together regular games despite the fact that there are no fields in the United States that look remotely like an Aussie rules field. So it puts these enormous burdens on those who are organising the games to try and get a playing area that absolutely suits. So when you go there, I do think that you'll find yourselves getting a very good welcome indeed. You know all the background of the game because you will have been taught the history of it, but it's the one football code in Australia that has two important characteristics of if you like, a social cohesion character. The first is Indigenous Australians love it. And some of the content of the game is taken from a 30 or 40,000 year old Australian Indigenous game, marginal. And so it is. It's mainly Irish football, it has to be said, but that was added into it. And the way in which the Australian Indigenous community, the oldest race on earth, has developed is they, instead of going outward to being a manufacturing sort of people or a husbanding sort of people, they turn inward into a life of the mind. And there is a sort of capacity to develop a level of anticipation, which means that they are absolute demons when it comes to locating themselves in anticipation of where the ball is going to go. So the team I support, the Fremantle Dockers, a third of the players often on the run-on team are Indigenous Australians, and considering that they only constitute 1.5% of the population, that is surprising. But I always remember when I went to a place called Yuendamu, which is in the dead centre of Australia, I watched this 6-year-old Aboriginal kid. He was walking along, he had an Australian rules football, and he was bouncing it like a basketball. And I thought, you can bounce a ball like that, like a basketball, you're going to be a demon when you get older. You know, that was, but they absolutely love the game. The second is women. There is no code in Australia which attracts the support of women in the way in which AFL does. And though not a lot of women play it, women in Australia mainly play what is the most popular sport by player in Australia, which is netball, a game also completely unknown in the United States, but it is the biggest sport in Australia by player. So women don't play a huge amount of AFL, but there's a large number of women commentators, increasingly women officials in relation to play on the field. So it's a sport that substantially attracts their support. But in the southern and western states, and increasingly in the northern states, of course, it's beloved of just about everybody. I understand that you're going to the MCG. If you're a supporter of Australian rules football or a supporter of Australian cricket, that's the holy of holies. If you have an opportunity to watch a well-attended game there, it's an amazing sporting arena. It's a terrific thing to have a look at. Every now and then the missionaries come out. I think the last missionary here was Brett Kirk from the Sydney Swans. He came through here proselytising. The most recent, however, non-official missionary was, of course, the Prime Minister, Julia Gillard, who knows the game particularly well. So she taught the US President, who's a very fast learner, how to handball. And so our iconic photograph of the two of them is of the President holding a sheriff, and therefore identifying completely with the Australian ethos. So it's that's terrific. That's terrific. That photograph reverberated back in Australia, I can tell you. It was a wonderful thing for them. All Australians who are from the football-playing states adhere to their clubs as a form of religion. It's no question at all we're a hedonistic society, and the devotion that we have to each of the district clubs we take up is the nearest things that we have to a spiritual commitment. And so you can really give very great offence to, it's very hard to give offence to an Australian, but if you can work out some way of bringing the football team, then you'll definitely make it. The kids at school, my daughter's at USC now, and but the year before she came over, of course she was in the graduating class. She's very proud of the fact that all 6 of her best male friends were draft picks in the AFL. Not one of them actually played in West Australia. They all got sent east, but that was the thing that they most wanted to do with their lives, and that's an enormous part of the rite of passage there. Well, you couldn't have better named teams. I mean, revolution and freedom. So that's the ultimate in relation to how Americans see themselves. So you're getting your iconic messages. You're getting your iconic messages in behind your team. But of course, I do appreciate the fact that this puts enormous pressure on you. You don't want to see the American Revolution lose. You don't want to see American freedom traduced. So that's a very great challenge for you all. But congratulations on doing this. I know you'll enjoy yourselves enormously. You are so impressive, both trying to keep the game going here and play the game here, but also what you're prepared to do to put your hand in your pocket to go. You know, if you drill a hole through the floor here, where you're going to end up is 3 miles off the coast of my hometown of Perth. You are going as far away from the United States as you conceivably can, and that's a challenge. And I just want you to know we Australians honour you and recognise the fact that you picked it up. Please keep drinking, and Godspeed.
Mr. Ambassador, on behalf of the Women's US Freedom Team and the Men's Revolution Team and the Baltimore Washington Eagles, I've got a couple of little items here I'd like to present you with. I've been to your house before, so I know there's plenty of room on your mantelpiece for these to sit on. There's a boot signed by the representative players.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
And a little sharing, just because you're going to put it inside, you made sure it was little so you wouldn't break any of the nice time.
That's great.
Thank you.
That video came from a reception given to the U.S. Australian Rules Football International Cup team on August 5th of this year. It looked like a good time was had by all, and the team got to share a special moment with the ambassador. And now, it's our turn. As joining us for an exclusive interview is Australian Ambassador Kim Beazley. He served in the Australian House of Representatives from 1980 to 2007. From there, he served as a professorial fellow at his alma mater, the University of Western Australia. And in September of 2009, he was appointed as Australia's ambassador to the United States. The appointment began in February of 2010 and is currently ongoing. It is with great pleasure that I now introduce Ambassador Beazley, who, in addition to his responsibilities as the Australian ambassador, has also recently accepted an offer to become the USAFL patron. He joins us right now. Ambassador Beazley, first of all, thank you for joining us and welcome to Stateside Footy.
Yeah, well, what a privilege it is to be patron of USAFL. The Australian game is a great game, but it's a game that struggles to move much outside our continent. This is a sort of missionary effort that is going on here, and this is one of the best ways of proselytising. A trip to the home of AFL for AFL lovers, the Australian code lovers around the globe. Couldn't be better, couldn't be a better idea. So it's a good thing to be in a position to be farewelling them today.
Let's go back to one of the parts of that opening bio, specifically the part about you now being the USAFL patron. What exactly does that entail?
Well, basically farewelling people as far as I can see, but operating in such a way that when folk request you to give a bit of a hand with this or that aspect of publicity associated with the game here, that you do it, so that you put yourself in a position to genuinely and generally advance the interests of the game. I haven't had too many calls on that, I've got to tell you in all honesty, but nevertheless, we're here and available.
And as the designated liaison between the USAFL and your home country, it only seems natural that your office headed up this special reception for the U.S. men's and women's team. Over the course of your political career, how much involvement have you had with the game?
Well, when you're in Australian politics, of course you engage yourself with the AFL game. I come from an AFL state in Western Australia. I was an initial member of the Fremantle Dockers. The main difference between me and most politicians when the Fremantle Dockers was established is that I actually paid for my membership. I was always privileged when opposition leader to have the opportunity to speak at the North Melbourne Breakfast, which is one of the great Australian institutions, followed by attendance at the AFL Grand Final. They were just tremendous events, and they're iconic events, of course, on the Australian sporting calendar. So certainly if you're from the southern and western states, and now spreading further north in Australia, and you are in politics, AFL is going to be a big part of your life.
Your tenure as U.S. ambassador is fast approaching the year-and-a-half mark. How have these past 14 months been for you?
I can't believe they've gone so fast. I cannot believe the last 14 months have gone so fast. Been a bit mixed. I managed to injure myself horribly, and in what was described to me by one of my friends as, had I been an AFL footballer, it would have been a career-terminating injury. Well, it wasn't a career-terminating injury for a diplomat, even if it had been for a footballer, and I found things have picked up very strongly from there. We're a beloved country in the United States. We interest them. We're seen as having a sympathetic attitude to them and a very compatible culture. It's not hard in that sense to be an Australian ambassador in the United States, but workload-wise, it's immensely demanding. We are able to interrogate the American system at so many levels, and the desire for information from home is copious and insatiable.
Going back to your formative years in school, you were a Rhodes Scholar. You also went to the University of Western Australia as well as Oxford. In those days, in those younger days when you were a schoolboy, had you ever put on the boots and played footy?
Here's a confession. The last time I played any Aussie rules personally was in the under-14 competition in Claremont District in Western Australia. From that age onwards, I played rugby. So I played for my school in rugby, I played for uni in rugby, then I played at college in England. I played rugby. But because I played rugby, it doesn't prevent me from appreciating the speed and skill of the Australian game.
In addition to the announcement that 4 new teams have joined the men's competition, obviously this year is historic for the women's competition. 5 women's teams are playing in this inaugural round. How heartening is it for you to see your country's game take hold in so many nations and expand around the world such as it has?
Look, I really hope this grows. It's interesting that we've got women's teams playing in this this game as well. You know, one of the most notable things about the Aussie Rules Code compared to the other football codes around the globe is the very genuine support it attracts from Australian women. It gets a huge female audience and very knowledgeable female critiques of it. And so seeing women's teams join the competition, well, that's a great thing. Seeing the competition occurring at all is a great thing because when you don't grow up with a game like Aussie Rules, it's pretty complex. It's a much more free-flowing, fast-moving, open game than any other code of football.
You follow one of the AFL teams from Western Australia, namely the Fremantle Dockers. First of all, how do you keep up with the Dockers over here? Also, what's your take on the whole campaign to find a replacement for the Freo Heave-Ho club song?
Well, the best incentive to keep up with the activities of the Fremantle Dockers is to join a footy tipping competition back in Australia. I think otherwise the sort of absence of anything readily accessible in the media here on the Australian game will probably over time diminish your attention to it. So I've been disappointed. Dockers are doing okay this year, but they're about 2 or 3 games short of where they actually need to be in wins, so I'm a bit disappointed about where they're in the process of ending up. Look, ever since that song was invented for the Fremantle Dockers, people have been running competitions to replace it, and it gets a great deal of rubbishing, it has to be said. But it's sort of reached that point. It's sort of like the ugly pet that you can't get rid of. I'd be sad to see it go.
Before we close out this interview, Ambassador, is there anything else you'd like to say to American footy fans?
It's a great game. If you can give a bit of support to your local teams here and make them feel really important representatives of the United States, you'll do a great deal for relations between Australia and the US.
It has truly been an honor to have this guest with us for this edition of Stateside Footy, the Honourable Kim Beazley, Companion of the Order of Australia and the Australian Ambassador to the United States. Thank you very much, sir, for being a part of our program.
It's terrific to be with you.
By the way, the international cup will actually start play after this episode was recorded, but we will tell you how both the United States teams did in an upcoming episode of Stateside Footy. In addition, we hope to talk to some of the men from the U.S. Revolution team and some of the women on the U.S. Freedom team. Well, we're going to wrap up this segment, but in addition, we're also going to wrap up this episode of Stateside Footy. Coming up next time, we'll feature a key battle between Eastern USAFL rivals as the Boston Demons host the Philadelphia Hawks at Ipswich River Park in North Reading, Massachusetts. It looks to be a full-size, full-time, full-on footy fight between these two teams, and we'll bring it to you right here on Stateside Footy. And before we sign off for this episode, I would like to pass some special thanks out to the Australian Ambassador, Kim Beazley, for joining us on this episode. Also to his staff, his public affairs staff, including Scott Bolitho and all his people. They were fantastic. They basically did what it took to make sure this episode and this interview happened. So thank you very much to the staff at the Australian Embassy down in D.C. Also thanks to my local production crew, Ron Bucheri, Don Laird, Cal Serino, and of course, I'll never forget, Stacey Robert. Thanks to all of you for being part of the show, and thanks to you, the biggest part of the show of all. We're talking about the viewership, of course. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget, you are watching Stateside Footy, the program that brings you the game that's Australian-made, American-played, and we bring it to you online and on cable. Visit us online at our website. It's www.statesidefootytv.com. Till next time, on behalf of everyone involved, I'm Bill Robert. Thank you very much for watching Stateside Footy.